अष्टमूर्तिरजाजयत्री लोकयात्रा विधायिनी एकाकिनी भूमरूपा निद्वैताद्वैतवर्जिता.
The Matsya Purana says wealth, intelligence, earth, nourishment, Gauri, contentment, radiance, stability, protect me, O Saraswati, by these 8 forms, or her 8 forms are to be known by mantras. The Yoga Shastra says the self is of 8 kinds according to the difference of qualities, namely embodied soul, Jivatman, inner self, Antaratman, supreme self, Paramatman, unsustained self, Nirmalatman, pure self, Shuddhatman, wisdom self, Jnanatman, great self, Mahatman, and elemental self, Bhutatman. Thus, there are 8 selves, or the 5 elements, the sun, moon, and Jiva, or heaven, or sacrificer. These are 8 bodies. The Shakti Rahasya says the 5 elements, sun, moon, and heaven, are the 8 bodies. The Vishnu Purana also, the sun, water, earth, fire, air, ether, the Brahmana, the sacrificer, and the moon. These are 8 bodies. The wives of these 8 are respectively Uma, Sukeshi, Apara, Shiva, Swaha, Diti, Diksha, and Rohini. Their sons are respectively Saturn, Venus, Lohitanga, Manojava, Skanda, Swarga, Shantana, and Buddha. But the Linga Purana says the 8 Prakritis are said to form the body of Devi. Also, the 8 kinds of products, Vikritis, are manifestations of her body in order to mold the bodies. According to Bhagavad Gita, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intellect, and egoism. Thus, 8-fold is her Prakriti, the 8 kulas, that is the 8 kinds of women. The Samya Charasmriti says Ganika, Shaundika, Kaivarti, Rajika, Tatrakari, Karmari, Matangi, and Pumshali. In the Rudramaya Mala, the characteristics of the following 8 women are given, namely Ananga Kusuma, who has symmetrical limbs and long hair. The name of each woman is given in the 3rd chapter of the same book. The 8 forms may mean the 8 Vashinis, Brahmani, etc. The conqueror of the unborn, Avidya, Aja Jaitri. The Shruti says, Aja, the one red, white, and black. The meaning is as she is wisdom, she destroys ignorance, directing the course of the worlds. Lokas, the 14 worlds, Yatra, destruction or protection. 1. Because she is without a second. The Brahma Purana says, he feared, therefore, anyone who is lonely fears. He thought, why should I fear, since there is none beside me? Thence his fear passed away. The Devi Purana says, alone she consumes the worlds, alone she establishes them, alone she creates the universe, hence she is called the One. 25th verse divides 34 names, aggregate of all existing things, Bhuma Rupa. The Vedanta Sutra establishes that Bhuma means Brahman. This is not described in Chandogya Upanishad, where one does not see anything else nor hears anything else. That which is infinite, Bhuman, is bliss. Or the previous name means she is one, but this she is many. The Devi Purana says, though she is one by limitations, she is everywhere, cognized as many, Bhuma. As the crystal is colored by the transmission of different colors, so by the qualities, Devi is described as Bhuma. Just as one cloud becomes many, retaining the same nature and colors. So Uma becomes many through the qualities, just as the rain from the sky assumes various tastes according to the soil. So Uma is through the qualities, just as the wind, which is one, takes on different odors, fragrant and otherwise so. Uma through the qualities, just as one Garhapatya, fire, takes different names, such as Dakshina and Ahavinya, fires. So Devi is said by the wise to be one and many. Hence, supreme devotion to her should be practiced for the attainment of all objects. The Kurma Purana also says the one energy, the wife of Kama, becomes many through limitation. In his presence, she disports herself through limitations in many forms. Without duality, Nirdvaita, the Shruti says, when he sees nothing else which is small, that is perishable, thus the Shruti sets forth the impermanence of duality. Transcending duality, this refutes the theory that at any time duality is permanent.
अन्नदा वसुधा वृद्धा ब्रह्मात्मैक्यस्वरूपिणी बृहती ब्राह्मणी ब्राह्मी ब्रह्मानन्दा बलिप्रिया.
Giver of food, giver of wealth. The Brahma Upanishad says, this indeed is the great unborn self, the giver of food and the giver of wealth. He who knows this obtains food and wealth. Ancient, the Shruti, though as an old man, totterest along on thy staff, Vriddha may mean the oldest of all, or expanded in the form of the universe, or she nourishes the world, the union of Brahman and Atman, or Brahma, Shiva, Atman, Jiva, Swa, the Hams mantra, etc. Each unites the souls with Shiva. Rupa is her form. The Sutta Samhita says, or this is Jiva mantra and describes the embodied soul, for by the word I is meant Jiva. The Shakti mantra is called Sa and indicates the Supreme Lord, for Parameshwara is known to be in every object, from the greatest to the smallest. The whole universe, animate and inanimate, is born, lives and dies in the Supreme Lord. The Jiva, Hamsa, who manifests through earthly existence, is also the Supreme Lord. I, Brahma, also am He. There is no doubt on the authority of my own experience. Similarly, the Hamsa mantra, which occurs in the Trishati, is to be taken as explained. Great or Brihati is a certain meter of 36 syllables. This does not contradict the word of the Kurma Purana, though art the Gayatri among the meters, because Devi is both the meters. Hence, there is no contradiction between the saying in the Bhagavad Gita, I am Brihat Saman among the Samans, and in the Kurma Purana, I am Jeshta Saman among the Samans. In the Brihat Saman is what is praised in the Arke, beginning Satvana, etc. The Jeshta Saman is what is praised in the two Riks, Udyuttam and Chitram. Brahmani. According to the Vishwa, Brahmani means harlot, a Brahman's wife, and a certain medicinal plant or wisdom. The Samayachara Paddhati says, Brahmani means divine wisdom crowned with the white flower, Sattva. Brahmani is the wife of Shiva because Shiva belongs to the Brahmana caste. The Chandogya Upanishad says, though are Brahmana among the Devas, I am the Brahmana among men. He who thinks thus attains Brahman. The Parashara, Aditya, Kurma, Vashishtha, and Linga Puranas also confirm this. The divine Shambhu, the consort of Devi, is Brahmana and is the deity of Brahmanas. A Brahmana especially should take refuge in Rudra, the Lord. The Shiva Tattvika also says, quoting a verse from the V Bhagavata Purana. My womb, Shiva is proved to be Brahmana, Brahmi, the female counterpart of Brahman or speech. Bliss of Brahman. Brahman is itself to be the conditioned one, or she is possessor of the bliss of Brahman, delighting in the mighty. Bali, those who are able to overcome nishines, etc., and conquer the enemies, namely desire, etc. Priya, fit objects of grace, or Bali, the king called Bali and refers to the Vamana, dwarf, incarnation, or Bali, accessories of ceremonial worship.
भाषारूपा बृहत्सेना भावा भावविवर्जिता सुखाराध्या शुभकरी शोभना सुलभा गतिः.
Language, that is Samkrita, Prakrita, and other languages, or she is adored in different languages, for it is said, some praise you in Samskrita, some in foreign, Mlecha languages, others in the vulgar tone, and some others in Prakrita. With mighty army, Bhratsena is also the name of a certain king, devoid of existence and non existence. Bhava, substance, quality, etc. Abhava is antecedent, non existence, etc. One of the four kinds of non existences, as Abhava, is non existence. It may be said that Devi cannot be said to be devoid of it, but the holy Vyasa answers this objection in the Sutta Samhita. Destruction of artificial things means their substratum alone remains, for destruction is the non existence of the existent and the existence of the non existent. The substratum is different from these two, namely existence and non existence. Substratum is not destroyed because it is ever real. Easily worshipped, Sukhadradhya, Sukha, without bodily pain by fasting, etc., and without restrictions on the mode of meditation, etc. In the Kurma Purana, Lord says to Himavan, if you are unable to meditate on my eternal supreme form, and describes an easy mode of worship, doing good, Shubhakari, that is, even him who but imperfectly worships her, the right path and easily attained. Shobhana, salvation, etc. Sulabha, easy modes of worship. Gati, result or means. The Vishwa says Gati means road, state, knowledge, journey, and means. The Kurma Purana says she alone is the highest goal, Gati, of the movements of all creatures. Some divide this into two names, namely the auspicious path, the Sobhana Gati, and easy path, Sulabha Gati. To avoid the repetition of the word Shobhana, some take the second name as not easily attainable, because there is no return from the state which puts an end to birth. The Brahma Purana says, Trishati, the 15-syllable mantra, is to be attained by him alone, whose present birth is his last, or by Samkara himself, or Asulabha Gati, the attainment of human birth, etc., which are very difficult to get, and Shobhana. These become good by worshipping Devi. The Devi Bhagavata Purana says, the births are in vain of those men who do not listen to Bhagavad Gita, those who do not worship the ancient Prakriti, and who do not feed the terrestrial gods. The Bhagavata Purana says, is in the second part adds, the ancient person. Some read 462 and 463 names as one. Divide this into three as Shobhana, Sulabha, and Gati. Ruler of the King of Kings, Raja, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, etc., who are the kings of Devas, etc., or Raja is Kubera, the god of wealth.
राजराजेश्वरी राज्यदायिनी राज्यवल्लभा राजत्कृपा राजपीठा निवेशितनिजाश्रिता राज्यलक्ष्मी कोशनाथा चतुरङ्गबलेश्वरी साम्राज्यदायिनी सत्यसन्धा सागरमेखला दीक्षिता दैत्यशमनी सर्वलोकवशङ्करी सर्वार्थदात्री सावित्री सच्चिदानन्दरूपिणी देशकालपरिच्छिन्ना सर्वगा सर्वमोहिनी सरस्वती शास्त्रमयी गुहाम्बा गुह्यरूपिणी
Bestower of dominion, Rajya, dominion over Vaikuntha, Kailasha, etc. Delighting in dominion, or Rajya, the rules of the above, because their abode is said to be between in the Sri Chakra. The Lalita Stavaratna, between the 13th and the 14th walls, there are lakes of sapphire. We adore the protectors of that region with their wives, radiating compassion. Her dependents are established in thrones, that is, Indras and other thrones. Royal wealth, the mantra of Rajya Lakshmi, is described in the Tantra Raja. Mistress of treasure, Kosha, may mean the 5 sheets. Ruler of armies, Chaturanga, armies consisting of cavalry, elephants, chariots, and infantry, or the 4 kinds of military arrays. Chaturanga Bala may mean the 4 vyuhas. They are according to the Vaishnavas, Vasudeva, etc., to the Shaivas and the Shaktas. These mean their respective 4 vyuhas. According to the Bhavarcha Upanishad, it means the person in the body, the person in the meter, the person in the Veda, and the great person. Bestower of Samrajya. Samrajya, the state of a king who performs the Rajasurya sacrifice, or a king of the earth, or the king of kings. It is said in the Agni Purana and in the Koshas, he who has performed the Rajasuya sacrifice, one who is the lord of the earth, and the one who rules over the kings, is called Samrat. Devoted to truth, Satyasamdha, girdled by ocean, Sagaramekhala, initiated, Dikshita, Di, wisdom, she, to give. The Atharva Brahmana says, next, therefore Diksha, from which root Dikshita is derived. They call the man who is initiated Dikshita or Dikshita. She destroys the sin of her disciples by imparting the mantra. The Paranandatraya says, out of compassion, she imparts to her disciples, she destroys their sins. Hence, she is called Dikshita. Controller of Daityas, Daitya Samani, Daityas, Bhanda, etc., subjugating all worlds, bestowing all objects of desire. Sarva, the 4 objects of human desires. The Devi Purana says, in all the works, she gives righteousness and the other desired objects. Hence, she is called by all by the word Sarvartha, Sadhini, that is, fulfiller of all objects. Savitri, the creator of the universe, that is, the supreme Shiva, whose wife she is. The Vimala Dhamottara says, he is called Shavita because he creates beings. The Bharadwaja Smriti also says, as she gives light to the sun, or because she creates the universe, she is called Savitri. The Vashishta Ramayana also repeats the same. The Devi Purana says, Devi is worshipped by Devas and worshipped by yoga and in the scriptures, and she is naturally pure. Hence, she is called Savitri. The Devi Bhagavata Purana says, the root Sra means flowing. From the flow arises brightness, Tejas. Hence, she is called Savitri. According to the Padma Purana, she is the deity worshipped at Pushkara Tirtha. Verse 26th verse divides 36 names. Existence, consciousness, and bliss. Thus ends the 8th Kala called Bhogada with the 700 in Saubhagya Bhaskara composed by Bhāskararāya. Unlimited by space and time. The Yoga Sutra says, he is a guru even of the ancient because he is not defined by time. Ancients, Brahma, etc., guru, father, limited by space means the absolute non existence of a thing in a certain place, saying, this is not here, limited by time. This was not before, and it will not exist in future, a thing having no antecedents or precedents. The Saura Samhita says, the person is omnipresent like ether, as everything except himself is illusionary. He is said to be unlimited as to space, time, and things, limited as to things, relative difference or mutual non existence between things, such as this is here and that is not there, etc. Omnipresent. She is inseparably present in all substances. The Varaha Purana says, when Devi, in the form of the creative Shakti, was performing penance in the Shweta mountain, Brahma said, ask a boon. Devi replied, O Holy One, I cannot bear to remain in one place. Hence, I beg of you to grant me the boon of omnipresence. Thus asked, Brahma then replied to the creative Devi, O thou of all forms, thou shalt become omnipresent. Of all forms, that is nothing is separate from her. Omnipresent. Your qualified forms will be in all bodies, or your will be become the soul of all. The Devi Purana also says, O great wise one, this is the true established doctrine about Devi. She is certainly the Vedas sacrifices heaven. All this universe, animate and inanimate, is pervaded by Devi. She is sacrificed too, and she is worshipped. She is food and drink. Everywhere, Devi is present under different forms and names, as in the trees, in the earth, wind, ether, water, fire. Thus, this Devi is ever to be worshipped according to the rules. One who thus knows her will be absorbed into her. All bewildered. How can this Devi be said to possess contradictory attributes such as permanence and impermanence, animation and non animation, etc.? This name answers the above question. She bewilders, Mohini, all the ordinary people, Sarva, who believe in the reality of the apparent duality. That is, she makes them devoid of knowledge of unity. The meaning is that the apparent difference between Brahman is the universe is illusionary. In the Kurma Purana, Shiva says, this supreme Shakti is in me and is Brahman itself. This Maya is dear to me, infinite, born once, O best of twice born, I bewilder the whole universe with the Devas. I cause them to exist. In another place, Devi says to Himavat, whatever different scriptures are found in the world opposed to Shruti and Smriti, devoted to the position of duality, namely Kapala, Bhairava, Shakala, Gautama, and many similar ones, they are for the purpose of bewilderment. Those who are confused by the false scriptures also confuse the world. In another cycle, these were all created by me for the sake of bewilderment. The Sutta Samhita says, sinful men devoid of my grace, bewildered by Maya and suffering birth, death, etc., do not know the Lord of gods, or she bewilders Moha, the three worlds, Sarva, or this means she is both Trilokya Mohana Chakra and its Vidya. Saraswati. Why should we make a difference between a pot and a cloth, as their apparent difference is simply illusionary, according to the previous rule? The foregoing name answers the question. Saraswati is the deity who presides over knowledge, that is, she is in the form of the ocean of the knowledge, that means non-sensuous knowledge. This meaning is that, though in the understanding of ordinary objects, such as pot, etc., no bewilderment arises, as Bhagavad Gita, verse 15 says. Knowledge is covered by the knee shines, hence, people are bewildered, and it is necessary to confuse sinful men because they are devoid of divine grace, to conceal from them the knowledge of non duality, which is the highest of human desires and which removes all sorrow. According to Dhaumya, Saraswati is a girl of 2 years of age. The Bharadwaja Smriti says, Saraswati is she who ever resides in the tongue of all beings and who causes speech. Hence she is called Saraswati by great rishis. The Vashishta Ramayana also says, she is called Saraswati because she is the stream of sense impressions, sciences, Shastramayi. This bewilderment is not like the bewilderment as to locality, because the duality is to be inferred by 1,000 arguments consisting of different contradictory qualities, etc. Hence, this name, Chaturanga Upanishad says, all is Brahman, etc., rests on the authority of the scriptures alone. The meaning is the scriptures alone are the convincing proof and not inference, etc. Because in the light of Shastras, inferences, etc., are weak. Hence, the Veda Sutra says, Shastra is the source, authority. The Shastras set forth instructions of knowing only one Brahman, such as, I ask you, that person spoken of in the Upanishads, etc. So, when by the scriptures, Brahman is known to be with all the things, which also is confirmed by the third division of the mantra, Panchadashi, the inferences opposed to that are to be attributed to confusion alone, because all the doctrines of Vedantas have the one object of establishing the unity of Brahman. The moon appears to everyone as a span's breadth in size, which appearance is opposed to the teachings of the science of astrology, hence to be false, or Shastramayi. Her body and limbs are the scriptures. The Brahma Purana says, she created from her breath the Vedas, namely Rig, Saman, Yajus, and Atharvan, and the great mantras from her egoism, Abhimana. From her sweet words, she created poetry, drama, rhetoric, etc. And from her tongue, created Saraswati. From her chin, whose eyes resemble the chakora bird, the six supplementaries of the Vedas. From the top of her throat, Mimamsa, Nyaya Shastra, Puranas, Dharma Shastra. From the middle of her throat, medicine and archery. From the bottom of her throat, the 64 sciences. From the rest of her limbs, all other tantras. And from her shoulders, the science of love. The mother of Guha. Question. Duality is not only commonly accepted like the idea. The moon is measured by a span, but is also scriptural. Guhamba, Guha, in the cavity, Amba, mother, that is, remaining in the cavity of the heart in the form of shadow. The Shruti says, there are two drinking their reward in the world of their own works, or entered into the cave, dwelling on the highest summit. Those who know Brahman call the shade and light. Likewise, those householders who perform the Trinaksheka sacrifice. The meaning is that, as both, namely shadow and light, enter the cavity of the heart, and both differ from one another, so duality is sanctioned by the scriptures, or Guha means Subramanya. In order to destroy the Daitya Taraka, at the request of the Devas, the conjunction of the Shiva and Shakti took place, and in that union, an obstruction was experienced. Consequently, Shiva became angry and uttered a curse. Then his seed was dissipated into the fire, the Ganga and reeds. Thus, the story of the birth of Skanda is given. This and other similar stories of him are to be known from the scriptures which support the theory of duality. The non dualistic scriptures are merely for the sake of praise, because it is opposed to the direct perception, like the Shruti, which says, when the sacrificer is said to be the altar, with the secret form, Guhyapirupini. Answer. All the ordinary ideas, that is, of duality, etc., are only true for a time, but non duality is ever true. This non duality is most secret, Guhya, non perceivable by ordinary vision, Rupa, the form, her nature. The Sutta Samhita says, we adore Devi, who assumes the form of the Guru, secret in the form of secret knowledge, beloved by her secret, devotees residing in the secret place. Thus, by attributing to the forms one Brahman, the two kinds of scriptures are reconciled. Guhya means Guhya Upanishad, which is her form. The Kurma Purana, in describing the glory of the Devi, says, among the Upanishads, O Devi, you are Guhya Upanishad, free from of all limitations. But if both scriptures are authoritative, non duality is not established? Answer. Sarvopadi, all limitations or attributes, such as the mother of Skanda, shadow, and the light, etc., whether conditioned or unconditioned, the relation between the qualities and the thing which is qualified is illusory or false, like the relation of the silver in the mother of pearl. To establish the authority of scriptures as truth indicating, it must be explained that all the Vedantas mean directly or indirectly one and the same supreme Brahman, which is non duality. Other scriptures which advocate duality are to be taken as explaining the ordinary vision, as we find the same in the signs of eclipse, where it is indicated by the words 5 or 6 fingers with regard to the consumption of the sun and the moon. So both the scriptures are advocating the duality and the other non duality are not to be dealt with equally, or she is free from the limitations established by logicians, or she is to be known by the real proof, the devoted spouse of Sadashiva. If the above is true, as Tripurasundari is in the form of energy, and as she is in the form of supreme egoism and other qualities, these attributes become illusory. Answer. Devoted to Shiva means ever remaining with him and in all three times. The other attributes are imaginary and their qualities are also imaginary. But in this Shakti, only the qualities are attributed, not the energy itself, and hence she belongs to Brahman, fount of traditional wisdom.